Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of Get Into It. I'm Ramona Remisat, and here's Mila today. She decided to pop in and say hello. She's on the hunt now. She just woke up from her nap. It's hunting time. She's going to go try to find her food. So today I want to talk about the hidden blocks to clear intuition. In past episodes, you may recall me talking about how the foods and beverages that we consume can actually impede our ability to clearly hear our intuition. But today I kind of wanted to go one step further with all of that and talk about some of the hidden blocks. It still has to do in some instances with food, but it's the things that we often don't consider because we don't see it. So what I'm talking about are things like the pesticides, herbicides that are used on a lot of our food supplies, specifically the glyphosate, which is the active ingredient in Roundup, and that is actively sprayed on a number of crops through North America. Sadly, it is not banned here yet, as it is in some countries in Europe. And I believe, just in my own journey with gut health, I believe part of the reason why we're seeing such high incidences of people with gut issues is because of this glyphosate, and our bodies just don't know how to deal with it. It doesn't recognize it, it doesn't know what to do with it, and that's causing a lot of upset. So even the downside of this is even if you buy organic products, you're still getting some glyphosate. Sadly, it's in the water supply and it's getting into ground soils. So, you're not 100% protected if you put out the money and buy organic. And one thing I recently learned, which was kind of horrifying, is that apparently wines from California are very heavy in glyphosate. So yikes, right? So that is one of the things that can impact our ability to clearly hear our intuition, are these sort of biotoxins that we are ingesting, whether we know it or we don't know it. Along the same lines of that are the genetically modified foods. Again, our body isn't sure how to recognize that, and it can impede with our ability to hear our intuition because it kind of forms like a fuzz, you know what I mean? Like it's trying to have a conversation with you, but it's like staticky, as if, when we had the old-fashioned telephone lines, right? So those are also things that can interfere, and some of the other hidden things that can even interfere are being impacted by electromagnetic fields, from Wi-Fi, from towers, from all of that you might not know is even impacting you. Some people have learned that they are actually very sensitive to that kind of thing and have taken some measures to sort of limit it as much as they can. But face it, we're in a world surrounded by that nonstop, and that's why it's a little bit scary now, this whole push to have 5G, internet stuff, and it's really going to play havoc with a lot of people who are more sensitive to that. And again, kind of gets, it's interference, if you will, when we are trying to really tune in and get clear guidance from our intuition. So if you're on, don't be shy. Feel free to say who it is and give me a thumbs up and hearts if you like what I'm talking about. And I'll just do a quick recap. We were just talking about some of the hidden things that can impact your ability to clearly hear your intuition. And I've talked about foods and beverages in the past, substances like sugar, like gluten, like dairy. They can form like a gluey and spiky kinds of things in the auric field, and that is, our first line of defense against all the energy out there. So as intuition is coming in, it's kind of stuck in that auric field when there's that gluey and sharp kind of substances there. So taking that one step further, we're talking about what else there is, and that can be genetically modified foods and the glyphosate and other herbicides and pesticides that are sprayed on our crops that we could be ingesting, even if you're purchasing organic products, because like I said, the glyphosate is now in water supplies, it's getting into the soils, so it doesn't even matter, you're not 100% protected if you're buying organic stuff, right? And then the other hidden thing that we're impacted by is all the electromagnetic field around us. If you live near high powered what do you call those things? Power lines, that can impact you, right? If you're surrounded by a lot of Wi-Fi stuff, that can impact you. So it's time to really consider, what we are exposed to. Maybe you've never really considered this. You've never really given it much thought. So this might be, an opportunity for you to clean up some of this stuff as much as you can, or at least take an inventory of what you're being exposed to on a daily basis, right? We've got biotoxins that we're ingesting. We have biotoxins in our environment. We have biotoxins that we put on our skin or that we use in personal care products, and the products that we use to clean our homes with. Even in an environment like a home or an office, if it's a newer environment, you can be impacted by the off-gassing from things like toxic glue and carpeting and paint fumes, all of, new construction materials, off gas, even in a vehicle. You know how you talk about new car smell? Well, that is the off gassing of all the toxic substances that go into building a car or vehicle. So we are exposed to all this stuff. Now, the body is pretty amazing and does a really good job most of the time on helping us get rid of some of these things. But, for a lot of people, we just get to a point where our bodies, become overloaded, especially if we're compromised, if we're dealing with a lot of other things as well. If we might have a chronic illness or stealth infections or something like Lyme disease or whatever it might be, right? Bodies are working really, really hard dealing with that. And the more stuff that keeps getting dumped in on top of it, there comes a time when you just sort of reach your limit. So it's not only impacting you on the physical level, all of those things will also impact you on that etheric level or that ability to hear your intuition. So it might be time to really consider doing a detox in the form of, like I said, taking an inventory of what are those things that you are surrounded by and impacted by, and can you clean some of those things up? Can you make sure that the products you are using on your body are, of really good quality materials, things you can pronounce, things that you know what it is. Same with what you're cleaning with, right? If you are in an environment, where you can smell some kind of like off-gassing of, construction materials, like take some precautions around that, right? Even toxic mold is another big one people don't even realize, because a place doesn't have to smell moldy or musty for you to be impacted by that as well. So it's just time to really sit down and consider all of this stuff and make some small tweaks and changes where you can, right? If you feel like you're doing everything else right and yet you still can't seem to get a grasp of what your intuition is telling you, it could be because you are highly sensitive and all of that other stuff is impeding your ability to tap in. Okay, so that's what I have for you today. Kind of a little bit of a different spin on intuition, but I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, please, please, please share it out. Let other people in on the secrets, even though it's not really a secret. And if you have a topic that you would like me to cover that relates to intuition, or how do you hear your intuition, or how can you trust your intuition, then pop it in the comments and I will take that into consideration for a future episode. So thanks again, guys. Make it a great day. We'll see you soon.